So on the first chest, we have almost one full chest of magma cream. On the second chest, we have almost a double chest of pearlescent froglights. The third chest, we have almost a double chest of verdant froglights. And finally, we have almost a double chest of ochre froglight. But now that we got all this, it's time to get the crux of any good source system. We need to make ourselves an ice farm. What up, my roomies, and welcome back to the technical guide to Minecraft. And today we're going to be collecting a lot of ice. But instead of going to an ice biome and harvesting all the ice that's already there, we're going to make a farm. Because eventually, I don't want to have to keep going further and further into the world just to get some ice. And so, we're going to go over some ice mechanics instead. But the ice farm in question isn't going to be a permanent one, because we don't need to scale up just yet. It's going to be a beginner ice farm to more or less understand the mechanics behind how ice forms. Welcome to Gigacore, where safety is a concern. Now, we're going to be starting off in this box. You might be wondering, why are we in this tiny box? Well, the reason is quite simple. We need to go over on how to make ice. See, ice is unique in that it requires a source block. So in this case, the source block in question is the one in the middle right over here. But unlike things like plants or other kinds of farms, it goes by random tick events, meaning that at any given random tick will cause this water source to become ice. And there you go, ice. But that took a long time. But why? See how ice works is that any random tick will develop ice, but there's a chance for ice to form faster if there is an ice already there. And the ice in question acts as a sort of seed to grow other ice. And of course, we could scale this up. So over here, we have a max beacon range ice area. And the cool thing about ice farms is that the more ice that forms, the more ice gets made, because ice tends to form, or in this case grow, if there's already ice existing. And so we could use that to our advantage by placing a single ice in the center of this farm, while placing ice in the center and on the corners of this farm to maximize the output. Now of course, in order to harvest this farm, you need a silk touch pickaxe. But since we are already at the point that we have a villager breeder, or in this case a void villager breeder, as shown in the previous episode, having a silk touch pickaxe with efficiency 5 along with haste 2 beacon will allow us to insta-mine all this ice, because we need a lot of blue ice in order to build Ambrosia's storage center. And you might be wondering, how come we're not making an AFK farm version of an ice farm? Well, we don't need that yet. And like all the other farms that we have, this is a starter farm, which later on we're going to upgrade this farm to be AFKable. But for now, this episode is dedicated to understanding ice mechanics by itself. And of course, if you want to play around with this, there's going to be a schematic in the description below. And for those that want a block by block tutorial on how to make this really large ice farm, please let me know in the comments. So with that in mind, let's head back to the technical guide world and get to it. Quick interruption. I noticed that only 12% of you are actually subscribed to this channel. Watching this long, I must be doing something right. So if you like this video, hit that like button and please subscribe to this channel. Any support helps, and these videos take a bit long to make. Thank you so much, and back to the video. So a couple of episodes ago, we had made ourselves a powdered snow farm. So we're gonna go back to that area in order to set up this ice farm. Okay, we're here. Let's go jump on the other side. And I suppose we'll make it like right over here somewhere. So Alright, now that we've finished building this entire thing, what we're gonna need is a single ice to sort of act like the seed for the rest of this ice to really create. Because how this mechanic works is that ice grows easier if it's next to other ice. It's kind of weird when you think about it that way, but in order to expedite this, we're gonna put down a single ice in the center and let the game take over. Then we're gonna go AFK and collect the rest of this ice.
Rapid service stream. Detection code. This is the Chill Line.
after AFKing for about 30 to 40 minutes, this entire thing is now filled, which means it's time to go collect it. Let's see how many Shulker Boxes of ice there is. Alright, with great difficulty, we managed to get ourselves 6 Shulker Boxes worth of ice, and you might be wondering, how come I'm not getting the ice around over there? Well, if you see the replay, you'll notice that kind of messed up. I should have gotten the edges last to make this as painless as possible, but yeah, don't go for the edges first. Go for the inside, and then work your way out. But yeah, as you can see, all of these have a full Shulker Box of ice, and some change too. But this ice is not going to be enough, because we're going to convert this ice into packed ice. And then, well, we're going to turn into blue ice. And for those who already know, that's going to take a lot of ice, which means I'm going to have to run this farm a couple of times. So, let me show you how to make some packed ice. In order to make packed ice, you need 9 regular ice. So let's grab ourselves a bunch of this ice. And just to make it a little easier to view, we're going to put the extra ones in here. So we have ourselves 27 stacks of regular ice. And to make it into packed ice, you need 9 ice, which means we have 3 stacks of packed ice. So from 27 stacks, we now have 3 stacks of packed ice. And it'll only get more and more expensive from there. So let's grab ourselves another Shulker Box worth, convert these into packed ice, and grab ourselves one more Shulker Box worth of packed ice. So now we have 9 stacks of packed ice. Now, with 9 packed ice, you can make 1 blue ice. So you could probably imagine how this is going to be very expensive very quickly. Now, with the 9 stacks, we now have a single stack of blue ice. So let's go over this real quick. I used 3 Shulker Boxes worth of regular ice, which then turned into 9 packed ice, which only came out to 1 blue ice. So I'm gonna have to do this a lot of times. See, blue ice is the most slippery of all the different ices, but it's not necessary when it comes to making storage systems. You can get away, for the most part, with regular packed ice. The blue ice is really there to help move things along. So we're gonna run this a couple more times, and we'll call it a day. Alright, so what seemed like a couple of hours of repetitive work, we finally got ourselves 8 stacks of blue ice, which is honestly going to be probably more than enough for our means. But if you've noticed that in front of us, we used a beacon in order to help us harvest all the ice. But the problem is, if we look at the Shulker box, we are actually out of beacons, which is going to be a problem because the Ambrosia is going to need at least 6 beacons. And not only that, we need beacons for other builds as well. So we are going to have to go kill the Wither, but having to kill the Wither one by one just seems like honestly a waste of time given our tech at this point. And so instead, we're going to make ourselves a Wither killer.